watching You Matters Happy Hour.
Of Scott Jones and Andy Lee.
How are we?
We're good, mate. How are you?
Very, very well, thank you. Thanks for eventually actually sending me the link because you were so excited about our special guest. You forgot to even ask his co-host to come on.
That is very true. Last minute send of the code, but we got there in the end, mate.
And I'm going to disappear for about 2 seconds because I've just remembered something I wanted to have on the show for when our guest comes.
Okay, you're going to do that. I'm a bit worried, but you're going to sort it out. Jennifer says, "Hey boys, hey Jennifer, how are you doing?" Thanks to anyone again who's watching. Don't forget though to comment in the chat and say hello. We can't see who's watching, so let us know. Say hello in the chat, and we'll say hello back. Also, looking for any sort of funny stories that you might have, or any stories again, anything. Just give us a bit of a shout out, and we'll talk about it. Andy will probably sort of confirm this is the word I'm looking for, but we'll talk about anything really. Just throw it in the chat. We'll talk about it. Why
Anything
not?
except religion and politics, we'll do either of them, won't we?
Anything, mate.
Anything.
I'm gonna say anything goes. Anything
except religion, politics, and COVID. Good evening, Jennifer. Good evening. RWS is in town. She's all excited because she's going to get the t-shirts. Faces in the town and Lou's in town. Look at that. Oh, I better get my music ready, hadn't I?
So, I'm a little bit worried because I thought that I was recycling this t-shirt, but Andy seems to think he hasn't seen this before. So hopefully that I dreamt that I wore this on the show and you haven't seen it before. So we should all be good. But let's be honest, it's not about the t-shirt anyway. It's more about the stripping, isn't it?
It is. It's
the stripping, let's be honest.
NMS, good evening to you. Yeah, it is all about the stripping. I think that's what most of the ladies are here for. And it's quite, because I was actually brought my RWS just mentioned there about your glass. You actually brought my glasses so that me and Scott could actually be mistaken for the same person. Hey, yeah, Scott, we got an international guy on. What's all that about?
Lars is joining us from Norway.
Norway?
Yeah, from Ausland in Norway. Good evening to you, Lars.
Good evening, Lars, and welcome to our lovely show here in Kidderminster. So, Lars, I assume, is from the big fan base that comes over regular from Norway, then?
Yeah, so Lars is the main man when it comes to Harriers of Norway. So, yeah, he was always going to be on the show, really.
He was. So, David Russ, sorry, guys, we have obviously got a special guest today. Some of you have seen. He'll be on the show for about 15 minutes, Scott, will he, I think? For about 15 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, we'll just take it as it comes and whatever time Russ can give us. But we should be looking between 50 minutes to half hour, really.
Fantastic. So, yeah, for those of you that he's obviously, we will be talking about Kidderminster Harriers, the things they do in the community as well. So it won't be just purely about football for those of you that aren't into football. It's very much, we'll have a little bit of a chat with him as well. Scott's got some pertinent questions, I think, for him being an Harriers employee. I've got a couple of things I'd like to mention. And so it won't be purely football. It'll be about what Harriers are doing and how important the community is to them. So it's not just a football base.
No. And I just echo what David's saying is I can't wait today we get back to Agborough and have all the fans back in. Get behind the team again, which obviously we'll touch on that in a bit as well. But we've also got another member of the Harriers from Norway, Even, joining us.
Even.
Welcome to you. Alex Bowman, welcome. Good evening.
Alex Bowman of acespace.com. There, if you want. And Alex, actually, Scott, Alex wanted to know how he could get some sort of advertising boards or something up at who he needs to contact up at the Harriers. So,
okay, I can sort that out with you after the show.
Fantastic. Alex, as I said, Scott will be able to help you there, mate. So get in touch with Scott.
And we can always rely on Face to come up with a little bit of a joke with it.
Yeah.
But from Norway.
Nice what you did there, Face, from down south.
Yeah, so also, we're trying to get the normalities out of the way a little bit. So should we reveal the T-shirt now or after a photo of Face when he was a baby?
Oh, we've got
What
a
do you
face when he was a baby, have we?
We have got a picture of face when he was a baby that he sent in. And I've got to be honest, I didn't realise he was such a handsome baby.
Tonight, Judy, that'd be nice to see you for a little while before you go to sleep. Or if you've got a picture of face when it's a baby, it's got to be. I mean, he ain't much bigger, so let's have a look.
Okay, there you go. Here's baby face.
Nice. Look at it. He's probably lost a bit of weight since then. To be fair, he's probably lost a bit of weight since then.
Yeah, so looking good. I said, didn't realise he was such a handsome baby.
He was a handsome baby. He hasn't really grown either. I used to when I've been to the scooter rallies and things, I carry him around like that.
In a little, do you have in a little front pouch or back pouch?
Yeah. I have him on the front. One of them pouches on the front is like, oh, here's Andy and Face coming, and I've got one of them pouches on the front. I carry him around on.
Fantastic.
I'm joking, mate. Love you lots. Love you lots. Yeah.
Right, but I think it might be time to
hold on, mate.
T-shirt out. But RWS says he was a Cabbage Patch baby. I mean, he did look that way, didn't it?
He's disappeared now. He's gone very quiet. Where is he? Has he not seen his own picture? He's probably all embarrassed.
I think there
he is.
He's back with the smiles.
There he is. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Kicking his legs out. Little Dr. Martens he did, and his stay pressed jeans sticking through, and his little Harrington. I used to carry him around, and he used to swear at people. You know, angry little skinhead he was.
That bit I can believe. Yeah.
He was like a puppet. He was like a spit the dog of humans.
Spit the dog. That's going back a bit, isn't
it? Yeah. So we have the T-shirt then before we go to see for Rustums. You are in time for the script, Judy, just in time. And I know RWS has got a busy night. She wants to see it. Here we go. She's all excited. Look. Hold on. Music's coming. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Scotty.
There we are.
Nice.
The FBI. Fantastic body inside.
There we go. FBI. Fantastic body inside. Look at that.
Choice of T-shirt.
It is very nice and it fits. No, I don't think we've seen that one. In fact, I'm pretty sure, but I have got a really rubbish memory. Best one yet. You've got there.
That's
best
what I like.
one yet. Nice fit as well, Scott. Nice fit. Did you go for extra medium?
I did, mate. Just when you've got a fantastic body inside, you have to show it off, don't you?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Extra medium. Extra medium. Fantastic body inside. Might get me one of them. I like that. Best one yet. Love it. Jennifer Ball's loving it. Lou Smith's loving it. Nice one, Scott.
I mean, what I like about these shirts is they're funny, but they're also factual.
And to be honest, mate, you cannot beat funny facts. It's all about facts and data. And if you can have humour in there as well, it's nailed on for me. Funny facts and data is all you need in life.
That's it, mate. And you know what more can you need? And that's exactly what I've got here.
You have funny facts and
factual.
Factastic it is. Factastic.
What a word. There we go. Right. Well, as most of you know, we've got a special guest joining us tonight. We do have the manager of Kidderminster Harriers Football Club. Please welcome Russ Penn. How are we doing, Russ?
Hi, Russ.
How are we doing? You all right?
Good to see you, Andy. Good to see you, Scott.
And you, mate.
I mean, strange times at the moment. Normally I see you most every week at the football, but at the moment, obviously we're not able to do that. Quite an unfortunate time at the moment.
Yeah, football's in a bit of a sad state of affairs actually at the moment, not just at our level, but up and down the country from top to bottom. I know football is still continuing, but to not have fans and with the VAR and everything, it's not what everyone signed up to be honest. But like you said, the footballers and managers, they've got a job to do and they'll continue to do that until told otherwise.
Definitely. I mean, we're going to try and touch on a few things around the COVID situation affecting football. But obviously, if there's stuff you can't talk about, then we understand that bit. But just I want to talk about the league as well a little bit. How it's affected Kidderminster at the moment. Obviously, quite a good start to the season for Kidderminster. And then, obviously, it's in a bit of a turmoil for those people that don't really follow it as much. There was promise of funding, which has then been thrown up in the air a little bit. So teams have started to play and now are really struggling to sort of carry on. So the league has been stopped, but obviously in a financial position, it's put a lot of clubs in the league in a bad situation, really.
Yeah, I can only talk on behalf of us at Kidderminster. It's been really frustrating. We've got a new lease of life at the club with new owners, new managers, new squad, new everything, really. And to have an half-decent start to the season, being fourth, joint second after 15 games, is a great achievement. But, we wanted to continue that next 25 games, really. It's not going to happen. There's talk about this continuation league, which, is very up in the air at the moment. But really, everyone just wants a solution. And if not, then we'll look forward to next season. But as of yet, we haven't been told when the season's going to start or finish. So, yeah, very frustrating times at the moment for not only myself, but for the players and the fans, because we all just want to be back in Agborough and winning games of football.
Yeah, so it's been a while since we've had all the fans back in. And as it was mentioned earlier on in the chat, which everyone just can't wait to be able to get back in and have all the fans back in, cheering on the team and get back to the great atmosphere that we know is Agborough Stadium.
Sorry, Scott. It's people's lives, and whether it's mine as a football manager or yourself as on the PA system or as a fan, it's part of our routine of life, of going to Kidderminster or going to football and going to watch 90 minutes of football. Alongside that, you're there at the Harriers Arms a couple of hours before having a pint, and then you're there after for a pint. It's our day, and we look forward to it. We can let off a bit of steam, and we've clearly missed that this season.
Yeah, definitely. Just to clarify, Russ, you're not in the pub 2 hours before the game, are you?
I'm not, Scott. You are.
That would explain a lot of what goes on the PA system, yeah. But I mean, looking back, going away from COVID and going back a bit, we've had some great times at Kidderminster, with yourself being involved in quite a few of them over the years. With a spell in the Football League, playing the first competitive game at Wembley. We try not to talk about that too much because it didn't end the best day in quite a few ways. But I saw myself on a photo from that day as well, and it was a very bad hair day for me, as well as anything else. So I do actually have a picture of it. Where was it?
Scott, we don't have to worry about them bad hair days anymore, mate, do we?
No, we don't, mate. This is me at Wembley. Not looking great.
Oh my word!
You look like Lewis Capaldi.
I felt like I looked like a bad Harry Potter there.
Where did it all go wrong? What did I say?
Yeah, well, it gets worse as well, because in that same year, this is also another picture of me. That's just.
Jeez.
If you really go into Google, you'll see a photo of me when I first signed for Kidderminster, and the amount I think I put off a tub of gel on my hair at the time. God knows how I used to play with that.
Is that a challenge to try and find that photo now?
No, it's not good, mate. Don't look for it. No.
Oh, that photo, Scott. What was it like, Russ? Just what was it like playing at that first game at the new Wembley? Obviously, it was a massive, the new Wembley, and Constable scored the first goal ever scored there. And what was that like playing that? I was there as a fan, and there was 40,000, of which 37,800 were Kiddie fans. It was ridiculous. It was an amazing day out as a fan. What was it like playing?
First of all, Andy, it was 58,000, mate. So you've got to get your facts right.
Yeah, it was. I always remember it just being a mad number, and the majority were Kiddie. It was ridiculous. It was.
It helped that we played a London team in Stevenage, so obviously they packed it out. But the build-up was the best thing for me. I think the season finished, and we still had 3 weeks before the final. So you can imagine all Sky Sports down at the ground, and we were having interviews on the Severn Valley Railway, and It was brilliant. You were like a Premiership player for 2 weeks, and then to go there, the pitch was absolutely sublime. It was tipping it down, but it was hot.
It was.
And it was just a sea of red everywhere, and it was brilliant. The result wasn't brilliant, but the first half was fantastic. Put it like that.
I did a bit of a Wikipedia, so I'm going with the internet's always true. That you played actually 8 times for England C?
Yeah.
How did that compare to something like that? Because for a non-league player, I just think at any level, I'm obviously not a professional footballer, but at any level of any sport, I always feel that the pinnacle has got to be playing for your country. That's just me as a patriot as well. I think it's got to be the pinnacle of any sportsman to want to represent their country. I hear a lot about the Premiership players. Oh, clubs got to come first. I just don't get that mentality. But then I'm not in that thought process. Does that compare? Is England above when the opportunity comes?
I think so. Now, England C was probably a little bit different 12 years ago. It was open age and there were some bloody good players in it. I'm not saying there isn't any more, but it's more age related now. Under 23s they do now. Okay. And at the time we had a really good squad. We were flying out to Italy away, Finland away. We went to the Caribbean for 10 days to play Barbados and who else did we play over there? Someone else. We'll have to come back. But honestly, and the players we had at the time was brilliant. But we had a manager as well who treated us like the full English setup. So we had a really good budget. We were eating. We were at 5-star hotels. It was just great occasions, mate. We were getting picked up in cars by chauffeurs. It was fantastic. And for that week, you were like a Premier League footballer. It was brilliant. So honestly, my England days, they were great memories for myself.
Yeah. I mean, as I say, it's just something I don't understand the arguments, but then I haven't got to work in the mindset of a Premier League footballer, representing and the finances behind it. But I just don't understand the arguments of club over country at all. Don't work for me.
I'd like to think that's changed under Southgate a bit now because he's a bit more real, if you know what I mean. He's come from, he played 60, 70 times for England himself. And he's made it really patriotic again now, I think. And I quite like the bloke, how he does that. And he sticks to his morals, his values. And hopefully, it's a joy to play for your country again now.
Yeah. As I say, I could harp on about it forever, to be honest. Another little fact on Wikipedia. You signed as a right back originally with Kiddie. Is that true? Well, it's not Wikipedia, actually. A friend of mine, Darren Rogers, you may remember from the past, the kit man. Darren Rogers. Well, I work with Darren now, but he said to say hi tonight, by the way, because he can't come on the show. But
brilliant! Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, he's a good lad, Daz. Yeah, he's a funny guy. You signed as a right back originally.
Yeah, well, I signed when I was 19, and to be honest, I didn't really know what position I was then. I just come out of youth team football, and it was just basically get on the pitch, and then we'll take it from there. I played a couple of reserve games at right back, and it didn't go very well whatsoever. So I got shipped out on loan to Alfchurch. Had a month there, and that's probably the saving grace in my career, really. Going to a lower league level team, boosting my confidence up, and then getting picked to play. I think Stuart Watkins gave me my debut on mid-November, and then from then on, I've gone on to play 650 games. So just them little small things, mate, that can change your career.
Yeah. It's the same in life, though. I think, to be fair, those little things, those little opportunities, if you don't take them, sometimes you miss the chances. Just one more thing before I pass you back to Scott, because I was really just time filling then while Scott found the big hair picture from your David Coverdale tribute band days. I'm just thinking of your highlights, really. So your England, for me, if it was me, would be a highlight. The Wembley would be a highlight. But I imagine this one's got a negative vibe, but it must have been massive to score the goal for Cheltenham when you lost to Everton.
Yes.
That must be weirdly a highlight.
Oh,
I don't know. Is that
right? Definitely a highlight for me. To score against a Premier League outfit was fantastic. In the FA Cup third round. I've got loads. I've had such a fantastic career in terms of memories. I played at Wembley twice. Got to the playoffs 4 times for 3 different teams. I've got sold for money. And the biggest achievement for myself is since I've left school 20 years ago, I've done nothing else apart from being football. That was always my aim and ambition when I was a kid. I just wanted to play football, and fortunately, I haven't done anything else since. So, long may it continue. It's a bit harder when you're though now than when you're a player. You see, you have to win games now. You see.
Yeah. Your life depends. Your job depends on it now, doesn't it? You can hide behind you before. You can't hide behind you anymore, can you?
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
I'll hand you back to Scott. Thanks for those, Russ.
Thanks, Andy.
I mean, I just want to start with the picture that we have found when Russ. I think this is when you first signed. It certainly seems to be a lot of gel involved.
See, I knew you'd find it, Scott. I knew you'd find this.
There we go.
Whoa!
I mean, at least you've got hair there. I mean, a bit like,
That's not even real.
But yeah, so
you two together could have been in the original tape.
Get it off.
I'll go back. Hang on. There we go. You're back to me.
Thanks, mate.
But yeah, we do have a couple of questions. Well, we do have a question in from NMS for you, Russ. She says, "Did you play with Drew Broughton?"
I didn't play with Drew. I don't know Drew as a friend, but obviously I've contacted him on separate occasions with football. But he's another one who had a fantastic career. I think, God, he had more clubs than Tiger Woods. Never mind that, like. But he come to Kiddie while they were in the Football League. Tough centre forward, an old-fashioned centre forward. Roughed it up. Sharpened his elbows before a game. So yeah, I was in the youth team at Scunthorpe when he used to come and play against Scunthorpe. But unfortunately for me, I never played against him. He was probably just another decade above me. He's probably in his early 40s now, so I just missed out on playing against him and playing with him, really.
Yeah, because Drew was back at the club a couple of years ago, selling his new book that he's released.
Yes,
about his life after football and what he's doing now. So if anyone says that's a great read. But yeah, just with Drew Broughton, there was like back in the days like Bo Henriksen as well, when he partnered with Bo Henriksen up front, which I know is a big hero to a lot of Harriers of Norway fans.
Kim Casey, mate. There's only one Kim Casey. I'm not having it. There's only one Kim Casey, I'll tell you.
Kim Casey.
I'll tell you what, they've had some good forwards in the past. I was at the Wolseley under-23s game the other day, and I was sat with Ian Foster, who again was good striker for Kiddie, little Fozzie. He's doing really well for himself now. He's at the FA with the youth teams, and he's a good friend of mine. He was a physio actually when I come back, so he's done everything in football. But he was a goal scorer as well, wasn't he? A little pocket rocket.
It was the reason we, in my eyes, one of the him and Mike Marsh obviously, but like with his goals, were one of the reasons why Harriers got promoted to the Football League when they did. Some very important goals there.
Mike Marsh was that FA Cup run. That Mike Marsh was just, with the greatest respect, the difference between where we were as a club, the players' skill level, and this is meant with the greatest respect because I'm way down the table, is against Mike Marsh. It was just ridiculous, the different level of thought process, the speed and the reaction. It was. I know he couldn't go because of his insurance payout, but you could just see the difference in quality when he played for the Harriers in saying the nicest possible way, I suppose. It was just watching Mike Marsh, amazing.
No, well, obviously, talk to you as Kiddie fans. You've been there, done it, got the t-shirt. What was your favourite era? Was it the era they got promoted? The couple of years before, was it late 90s or was it early 90s?
For me, Scott, I'm 50 now, so for me, it was very much the FA Cup run, the Birmingham, the West Ham, the Preston.
Yeah.
I worked on the temporary stand. I got a job for an agency doing the scaffolding for the temporary stand when we played West Ham.
Wow.
It was minus whatever temperature, I remember it. And there was all these scaffolders whizzing around on these bars like monkeys, and I was terrified. I was like walking across an inch at a time. But yeah, so my era is very much we had some amazing, without throwing too much out there, some amazing away days as well with Kiddie back in the day. And it was that period of Newport was a bit of a local derby, for that. So Hereford was a massive game, Boxing Day, Christmas Day, and it was back in the day when it was very different to what how football is now. Let's put it like that. But FA Cup run was just amazing. That was just phenomenal. Preston, West Ham, Blues. That was just a mad time to be a kiddie fan, to think that we played and competed with those sides at that time. That was the peak for me.
Well, I think my old man played for Alzo in town, so they weren't at the same level as Kiddie. They were a couple of leagues below, but Alzo had a good non-league outfit, but Kiddie were just that extra bit special. I think Kiddie actually signed a couple of Alzo players back in the late 80s and 90s, like Malcolm Hazelwood and players like that, really. But I think my old man played against Kiddie in '87. And there was 6,000 at Agra, and that was in the FA Cup first round.
We played Wickham in an FA Trophy semi-final, and it was the days when you run the cycling track around the ground, and they literally put 2 ropes to stop probably 3,000 of it, just 2 ropes with a no man's land of about 20 foot on the cycle track. It was ridiculous. It was just, but that was the days. It was just a day out, like you say. It was very different football times then, but that's my memories.
I always say, Andy, that was when non-league was really proper non-league. You know what I mean? You had good crowds every week. It was more of a social as well. When you'd go in, you'd drink with the players after the game. Obviously, and I want to bring that back a little bit at Kiddie. It's never going to be the same because the players, they look up to the Premier League players and they keep themselves to themselves. They're all on social media, but you have got to have an interaction with the fans, because the fans are always going to be there forever. You two will still be here in 20 years' time.
Yeah, I think that. I don't know what sort of questions, Scott. We haven't rehearsed any of this, Russ, you can tell, and I'm a bit of a chatterbox. And we've got some guys from Norway on as well, by the way, and a season ticket holder, David Vass, is on. He's got 2 season ticket holders. He's in the comments. NMS asked about Drew Broughton because she used to cut his hair, apparently. And Lee Whitehouse is asking, sorry, Scott, I'm jumping on your bandwagon here.
All right, mate, you go for it.
Has Russ ever managed anyone who went on to a big club? And there was a second question, but I'll let you answer that one first.
Well, obviously,
have you ever had anyone who went on to a big club?
Well, obviously, it's my first managerial job, but in terms of playing, I had some really good moves in my career. Played at Cheltenham Town under Yatesy for 3 years. Got to Wembley there, got to the playoff twice. We played Tottenham Hotspur away in the FA Cup third round, which was a sellout. That was a massive day for myself. Obviously, Everton at home. Played for York City when they were in the league, lost in the playoffs there. Signed for Burton Albion for money when they were in the league. And then I fluttered around other big clubs like Wrexham. I went to Wrexham in the conference. They're a massive, massive club. They are a sleeping giant. My first game for Wrexham, we had 6,000 against bloody North Ferriby. And you're thinking, God, this is a sleeping giant.
Where is that? Yeah, that's right.
But you look at North Ferriby, they've been took over by 2 bloody superstar Hollywood actors, haven't they? So
they have. Yeah. What's it? Is it not McConaughey? Is it? It's already else in
Reynolds. But yeah, no. This is my first journey as a manager. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I want to repay back the faith, especially to the fans, and just kick on. Really, I want to succeed at Kidderminster first and foremost. I think it's the club has been on. How do I say it? It's just been a bit quiet, as I'll say it nicely, in the last 2 to 3 years, and we're a big club, mate, and I know that. I need the rest of the country to find that out. Do you know what I mean? And that's where I want to get us to anyway. I'm not going to say let's be League Football, League 2 in 2 years. I'm not going to be unrealistic. I want to be realistic, but I want to compete.
So just on that, the other part of Lee's question is, and I just want to touch on this because obviously it's quite, You Matter is connected to a mental health site as well. So just want to touch on this, but not dig too deep. Lee's asking, is mental health a real issue in football, especially for the younger kids that have dedicated their 5 to 17 years and then it's no chance, mate? Is that a problem? Is that a genuine problem these days, the sort of mental health aspect, especially at those kids that get so far and then it's no thanks after they put their whole life into it?
100%, and I think it's more clear now with social media. I think social media is a big problem in society, especially with footballers, because anyone can say anything on social media. I made the big mistake that I learned from when I was at Kidderminster, actually. I used to go on the forums when I was 20 years old, and I used to think, whoa, God, I love all this praise when I had a good game. So I used to go on it more. I used to go on it more. Penn's brilliant. We're lucky to keep him. You have one bad game and a couple of bad comments, and you're like, wow, God, it used to hurt me. In the process from 7, I played at Football League clubs. I played from Villa, Birmingham, Wolves from 8 to 16, and I got released at every single club till I was 19. I'd like to say it hardened me up in my football career, and you were ready for the knockbacks. But yeah, it's definitely an issue, and it's something that I think they're trying to improve on. The PFA are stepping in now. Life after football, I think you're hearing a lot more of. But yeah, you've got to be very careful of what you say to these young kids now. As I say, you know, I keep going back to the old school. That old school's gone now. It's gone. You can't say what you think. You can't. You've got to talk on a level with them. And this is life moving forward, really.
Yeah. I think going on to that as well, Kidderminster obviously this season is sponsored by Kaleidoscope, a big mental health charity. So there's a lot going on, and the Kaleidoscope CEO Monica Shafak is also a non-executive director at the Harriers. So there's a lot. I mean, I know Harriers are doing a lot to sort of integrate mental health and help with getting into football and help those that do suffer from it, which is great. Going into the chat, we've got a few comments from John O. Smith, who said that his favourite part of the Harriers was the late 90s. I guess that was the time when we were getting the promotion.
Yeah.
And he also asks, what was it like to play against Fellaini?
It was special, really, because you watch him on TV. He's 6'5", and then he's got his afro, so actually he's about 6'8". And I remember I went to compete with a header for him, and he had this great skill of never heading a ball apart from in the box. He used to bring everything down on his chest, and he actually beat me in the air with his chest. And I thought, oh my God, these are elite. Do you know what I mean? I'm 6'5", 6'6" to win the header, and he's just brought it down on his chest and just played it. The best player on the pitch that day for me, though, was Phil Neville. He played at the end of his career. He played centre mid with Fellaini, and everyone used to knock Phil Neville to say, "Oh yeah, Phil Neville plays everywhere. Shouldn't have been at Man U." I tell you what, mate, he was class, and he has been class. You don't play 600 Premier League games if you're not class, and he was so elegant on the.
I'm a Wolves fan, and I saw him first season back up in the Premiership. We played Everton first game of the season. Well, yeah, I think it was the first game of the season. And Phil Neville, of all the people, scored a 30-yard screamer. It was textbook. It was you saw on the big screen after, and it was Roy the Rovers technique. It was like, he's the crap one of the two. How's he done that? You know?
Everyone says, and I bet everyone at Molineux were like this. Oh my God, Phil Neville.
Yeah, first game back, you're going, oh, here we go. Here we go.
He was, to be fair, after the game, he come up to me and said, good goal. And he gave me a shirt, Phil Neville. So I've got that framed. So again, just great bloke who's managed at very high levels. He's in Miami now, lapping up the sun with Bex. He owns a bit of Salford. He's done everything, mate. And him and Gary Neville, I think, are just true pros, really.
It's nice, it's nice to see they've sort of put something back, isn't it? Forget the slatings that Gary gets a lot of because of the way he talks. He says it like it is, and he can back it up, can't he? I think that's the nice thing.
He can back it up, exactly.
Back it up, trick. Yeah. John has asked another question, and Scott, I see.
He has, yeah. So John wants to know what Kidderminster Harriers have been missing over the last couple of years in terms of getting out of the north. I mean, is it you as the gaffer? Is that what they've been missing?
Yeah, that's it.
You've said it. You've took the words out of my mouth, Scott. Yeah.
I thought I'd say it for you.
I think we've listen. I'm not going to go into past and previous owners and whatever because I'm a good friend of Colin Gordon. Whatever, just never worked at the football club for himself. I think there's a new lease of life now. Now, I wish the fans were in the stadium to realise what we've been doing behind the scenes. Scott, I think you realise you pop in every now and then, and there's more of a bond now with the players and the club. Fans don't get to see that. So when they are back in a couple of months, then I think you'll start to see signs. And we've had a good season without fans. And, we're one of the bigger clubs, I say. And when we're playing well, the crowds come in. And we've got to make it a fortress at Agbra, really. what we have always done, we've always talked about the future. We should be here, we should be there. Well, we're not. We're at Conference North. We need to be respectful of the teams we play against, but realistic to where we are. And let's do well in this league first, and then that will take us to where we want to be, and then we'll talk about that next time when we're up a league.
Yeah, I love that. Love that attitude, Russ. I mean, as a Wolves fan, I could listen to Nuno. I know we've had a bit of a rough period, but I could listen to Nuno all day. The guy's just got it nailed on when it comes to talking about football. We can beat Man City, and he doesn't even want to talk about it after the game. He's not interested. Next playing Brighton, that's gone now. But just seeing there that Craig's going to get a season ticket for his lad next season, and he's going to try and take him as many games as possible because he loved his afternoons watching the Harriers. What can Harriers do? What can the community do? I'm going to compare it to Wolves, which is unfair. But Wolves have done a lot over the last few years about getting the club back into the community and making Wolverhampton about Wolverhampton Wanderers. And I think, me personally, as I say, my time was that time of the FA Cup run. There was definitely a thing. Saturday was about Kiddie Harriers. Even if you were Wolves, Albion, if you're away and weren't going to those big league games, you went to Harriers. Fact, that was just the way it went. You all went to Harriers, you met Highway Bell and all this good stuff. But that doesn't seem to be there anymore. How can Harriers get the community back involved in make it passionate, make Kidderminster about Kidderminster Harriers?
Well, I think first and foremost, and this is another thing down to COVID, is this Kidderminster blood in the owner now, Richard Lane. Obviously, the son of the previous directors and owners.
Is it Rocky Lane?
Rocky Lane, and then you've got me, an ex-player who's a Stourbridge-born lad who's just down the road. So we haven't had that for a long time. I think the last time was Norgrove and Yatesy. We had relative success there. And you've got to feel the club. I played 200 times for the football club. Richard Lane was a fan for 20 years. And now he's the owner. He is loving it at the moment, and this is one thing no one's been able to see. And there is some big news going to come out in the next couple of months regarding community stuff, but things which we have been doing behind closed doors, but no one's been able to see it really. Schools, we need to get links with schools. I want kids at the ground, like you said, Andy. I just want kids for a quid coming to Agbury instead of going up the Wolves and Villa and paying 50 quid. And it's a lovely place to play. It's a lovely place to play football. We've got the link with the Wolves now. The pitch is fantastic. We're in the middle of the Midlands. And why can't we get back to that average gate of 1,800 to 2,000? And then when you're winning games, it gets to 2,500. And then one step at a time. But that's where our aim is. And I've got to do that on the pitch, and they'll do it off the pitch. That's how we've got to try and be successful.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I love the idea of just having a community club back. I mean, we had massive links as a fan base with Stourbridge as well. Yeah. Obviously, the Wolves links. A lot of lads used to come over on a Saturday if Wolves were away, saying they weren't going. We used to have lots of Stourbridge. There was a big link between the two groups, sets of fans, the lads, if you like, the lads side of things. There was a lot of links between Kiddie and Stourbridge in those days, and they'd come over to watch Harriers a lot.
No, definitely, and I love all my non-league Midland football. Like Yates is at Stourbridge now. I know Paul Smith at Halesowen, Matty Clark at Redditch, Tim Harris at Worcester. We all keep in touch with each other, and we're all relatively good friends. Fans on the other hand, it's up to them really. I think it hasn't got the same feel as it had 10 to 20 years ago, the non-league football. But we've got to bring it back, and the community's big. Kidderminster is a big town, and it was big back in the 80s and 90s. And we've got to get there again. And like I said, there's some good news coming in the next couple of months, and hopefully that's the start of it.
I've got my new boots and everything. I'm ready. I'm ready, son. Ready. I think there's a bit of praise for you. Andy Ryder says he's been watching the Reds since 1984, and he's got to say, Russ, you're doing a great job in charge. Thank you. That's good to hear. I haven't got to speak to any fans, as they know. I'm always one to talk. I'll always go upstairs in the Agra Suite, or I'll go in the Harriers Arms after. I'll never shy away from anything. But I love just to talk to people, especially Kiddie fans. Talk crap all the time. You know what I mean? I'll just talk football, talk Kidderminster, and love talking to the away fans on away trips. But we haven't been able to do that. I've been in charge for nearly 12 months now, and I've had one game in front of fans. So it's quite surreal, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. While we're talking to fans, I want to mention to the Harriers of Norway. I know we've got Lars and a couple of the others on. So, I mean, how fantastic is it that the Harriers have a fan club in Norway? And not only that, they're like they're now, I think, in the top 20 like supported teams in Norway. When it comes to so, I mean, little Kimister Harriers up there in the top 20, beating some Premiership clubs. I mean, that's incredible.
It's unbelievable, mate. And to be honest, I can't wait till we get the crowds back in, because when they do come to Agbury in there, they come about 20, 25, 30, don't they?
Yes.
They really make a weekend of it. They drink the Harriers Arms dry. They bring all the drums. And it's great, mate. It's great.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. So last year, they come down and they come to training and we had photos. It was just a great day. And, they really make the most of it. And, I want to give them something to cheer on.
Definitely. I mean, and not only on the match days and stuff, but they've also brought, I think it was an ice maker, was it? They brought for the team, because you mentioned.
Funnily enough, we did this boost the budget, didn't they? And they asked me what I wanted, and we asked for an ice machine for the physio and for the club, and it was there within a week. Big parcel in my name, and it was there within a week. And so we've bought a big Norway flag and we've stuck it right on. We've sent them a photo, and it's been the signing of the year, mate. It really has. It's been brilliant.
Well, I will mention. I don't know if this has been mentioned to you about that ice maker, but the make on the front is obviously like standard English make, but it's actually translates to quite a rude word in Norway.
Really?
I might leave you put that into a Google Translate a bit later. But yeah, they mentioned it to me that it's got quite a rude word on the front of it.
No, they're great, honestly. And when I see pictures of them when they're watching games, it's so surreal, mate. It's brilliant. I wish they could be here for every game, to be honest, but obviously costing will be through the roof.
So a lot of people might not know this, but like the Harriers of Norway actually built their own mini Agbury in a warehouse. They've got the little red stanchions up on the steps, and they have a projector. And like when the games weren't live, they were getting sent them after, and they watch them a couple of days later, and they were standing there singing and cheering along with a fridge full of beer at the bottom.
It's great, isn't it? It's brilliant.
Yeah,
I've seen the photos, and it's brilliant. It's like the boys' club, isn't it? It's fantastic.
I mean, it's a great sentiment, and like I said, just to think how it started with like just a couple of them deciding, they want to support a non-league team, and they picked Harriers because of the Scandinavian relations back with like Jan Molby and Bo Henriksen back in the day, and then it went from a couple of them till, I think there are about over 200 odd fans now.
We got
Lars actually commented.
Lars has commented. Yeah, he said he's looking forward to get back to Agbury. In Russ, we trust.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I'll tell you what then. We know where we're going on a pre-season tour. We've got to go Norway, haven't we?
I think so. It's written in the stars, isn't it?
We'll need to go as well, Scott, for interview purposes.
Yeah, I think so.
Very important. We stand at the front of the camera and just, agents type of thing going on.
Definitely. We'll be there. But, I mean, Russ, we're coming to the end of the show. I just want to say thanks for taking your time and joining us today. I've learned a lot myself. I thought I knew everything, but I clearly don't. So thanks for joining us and spending your time with us tonight.
No, thanks, boys. It's been quite refreshing just talking football, really. Just casual, light chat about Kidderminster and the world that we're in at the moment. Quite surreal, but listen, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and we all can't wait to be back at Agbury in 5 months' time. It will come around really quick, and we'll go and we'll set off on our challenge once again.
Just a couple of things just before you do, Nip. Yeah, there's a couple of facts just coming up there. Look, 20th biggest supporters club in Norway with 189. Andre, I presume from Norway, is looking forward to the next trip. Craig Murphy is saying, due to the lack of games, will the team be pretty much the same next season, or will it be budgets? I assume budgets are going to be very tight and things, aren't they, as well next year?
Yeah, listen, budget is tight everywhere, and that's from the Premier League right down to where we are. We've had a good season overall, so I'm looking to keep the majority of the squad. As is in football, you like to bring better in, so we'll see. Really, it's early days though so far, so we'll see how we go.
And just touching on the mental side of things, Russ, I mean, you seem like a really positive guy. I've never met you before, and I really appreciate your time. It's been great to meet you, to be fair. And hopefully, in the future, Scott can arrange for that to happen physically. Not from any weird way, obviously, that's strange. But how have you how have you kept yourself motivated? You know, you've got to motivate a squad of, I don't know, 20 players or whatever, and a youth team who look up to you, etc. How do you keep yourself motivated during this really shit period we've been through?
Good question. Don't get me wrong. I've had some down days. I think the start of the pandemic, you know, I was 4 games in. I won 2, drew 1, and lost none. I was on a high. Then all of a sudden, it's bang lockdown. I'm thinking, God, I'm not even going to get the chance to get this job. Fortunately, they give me the job, and then I think by being so enthusiastic and excited, that kept my mojo going for the next 5 months in lockdown. But the unsure and up and down of everything in life, God, that was tricky times for us all. Fortunately for me, I've been able to get on the training ground. You know, we're classed as elite, so legally we're allowed to train every day and play. So that's been big for me and the players. But everyone's different. I'm managing 20 players. We've all got different home lives. They've got different financial problems. They've got political problems. They've got family issues, and you're trying to keep them on a level keel, really. So it has been tough. I could honestly write a book on just one year of being in charge. You know, and coinciding with the National League debacle that we're all going through at the moment, it's been frightening, really.
Yeah. Well, and also I couldn't. I was going to put some flags up, but I couldn't find my FA Cup, FA Trophy flags because I've still got them in the garage somewhere. But I did manage to find my coaster off the table. Look, there you go. So I have got some in the house. I have got some FA Trophy flags in the garage and the programme still somewhere in some boxes. Really? But I just found something. But I get, mate, it must be really tough, and I'm sure the players and that appreciate everything you're doing. And it looks like the fans are appreciating your work, mate, even though they can't get to see it.
Yeah, well, we've all got that buzz, haven't we, for next year? So you know, let's keep morale high, and a couple of good pre-season games, and then, you know, let's slap it right at the National League come August, and we'll be right at it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got a few comments for Russ to say from Craig Murphy, wishing Russ and all the lads the best of luck. Johnny Smith says all the best for whichever season starts next. But I think I was going to say I'll be there when I can, finishing that off. And Andy Ryder mentioned about that we sadly lost a fan in January. Will the club be doing anything for his memory? So this, I think, is referring to Harry French, who was the 21-year-old Harriers fan, who was sadly lost his life in January. I'm not aware of that, or
no, I am, and I'm obviously I work very closely with Matt Paddock, who, you know, he's absolute kiddie, born and bred, isn't he, Scott? You know that.
Yes.
And you know, we work very closely together. So if he hasn't put anything out there, I'm sure we will do. Like I said, it's been a tough year with the Murdoch thing as well. You know, it's these people we won't ever get to see again, and it's sad, really. It's a shame for all involved. There's one of the security men, I forgot his name now. You know, we've had 2 funeral cars outside of Agra this season, and so sad for everybody, really, throughout the world of lost ones. And, you know, we've just got to make sure when we come back, we remember these people for the good, and we win games for them.
Definitely. I mean, just go back to with that Harry French. I believe that yourself, players, and like directors all contributed to the GoFundMe page that was there.
Yeah,
it raised quite a lot of money in quite a quick time, really, I suppose. And so a lot of all the Harriers fans jumped on that. So that also just shows how much of a community Harriers are. You know, when they asked for help for a fellow fan, and within a couple of hours, I think it was up to £2,000 or something like that, which is amazing.
Yeah, and with Murdoch, when he passed away, I was on 5 Live the day after. Now, because of his pies, do you know what I mean? Talking about football, just talked about his cottage pies. But it just shows you we're there on the map, and we're a little sleeping giant, really. We were there on the map 30 years ago, and we've kind of dwindled down, so we need to get back on the map, really. And that's my aim. Got to do it on the pitch first and foremost. And if you do it on the pitch, then everything starts to open up, doesn't it? So, I'm a Wolves fan myself, Andy, and we were in League One 5 years ago, mate, and look where we were last year at you. Do you know what I mean? It's a slow journey. You've got to get there.
You look at these Twitter, I look at Twitter, and that's probably where I get my news from. So I don't watch the news, but some of these people that get rid of Klopp, get rid of Nuno, I'm like, are you for real? Like you say, who the Wolves, being a Wolves fan, we would, the games we're playing now, if you said to me 4 years ago, we'd be playing and winning these games and competing, you'd have gone, on your bike, mate, get out of it. So it's just the pressures and that, but you've got to just get, if you can get the games playing right and the crowds on side, then we've got a great future in this town to look forward to. We've all got a new future to look forward to. We've got a light at the very dark tunnel is now getting some light at the end of it. And, it'll be people like yourself, Russ, and the club, and many other things going on in Kidderminster. People like Scott and I, and our community as well. We've got to start pulling together and just change the way. Well, just change things. Get some smiles back in the town and things.
And we've got so many ideas about bringing everyone together. For obvious reasons, we haven't been able to do it, but we've got to have relationships. It's always been a divide the last 5 years, and everyone's falling out with this, falling out with that. And I'm thinking, you can't win games like that. You need everyone together. Now, I know I picked the team, and that team will win the game, but it's built on foundation blocks of the community. It's built on relationships. The better that is, the more people come through. It means there's a bit more money for the owner, who gives me a little bit more money. It's the domino effect, and we're all in that. Football's fickle, we know that, and I can deal with the negative press, because when we do have positive press, it's the best feeling in the world. It's the best drug in the world. That's why I'm still in the game. Everyone wants results yesterday. Everyone wants to be in League Two tomorrow. It's not going to happen that way. You've got to do it slowly. And hopefully in 10 years' time, we'll look back and go, good period that was. Just like you're saying about the early 90s and the late 90s. If you've done that, then you've been a success, because there's 24 teams in our league and all 24 want to get promoted. So that means 23 are going to be unhappy. Yeah. So you can't just keep sacking them all the time. Otherwise, that's why football managers only last about 12 months. But
it's just. I remember those times that we spoke about, and I know we're pushing the time here a bit, Scott. But I remember those times more about. I remember the games because I went to hundreds of games, and we got buses and trains and all sorts of things. But it was the community was there as well. It was, Friday night, go to the Harriers in the morning. Yeah, okay, I'll meet you at AJ's Cafe and and we'll have a pint in the bell before the game and all that good stuff.
You can feel it. You can feel it around the place, and I don't think I felt it the last couple of years, but I know, due to COVID as well, which will help me, that when the crowds are allowed back in, there's got to be such an enthusiastic boom that I've got to make it happen on the pitch, and then if that happens together. Bang, Bosha, we're on the road, aren't we?
One aids another, doesn't it? At the end of the day, one aids another. That's shown from watching football with no crowds on the telly. But for me, Scott, we're pushing on now, are we? Because
I just want to echo those sentiments. Though, with when I was a kid going to watch the Harriers, what gripped me was the team was starting to play well. I mean, I started going in about '94. I jumped on the bandwagon a little bit with the cup runs and all that, but I was only 6 at the time, so you can't moan at me. But there was a big buzz around because the team were playing well and they were getting results. And as soon as you got to Station Hill area, you'd be seeing Harriers fans everywhere. People are going to the pubs that were around on Station Hill, walking down the alleyways. People were talking about it, excited. There was a big buzz, and that's the sort of thing you need, isn't it? It's that effect, and then they go into the ground, and then they're noisy and cheering on the team, and the team perform well. And then it makes them even more excited. And it's just that ripple effect of, everyone needs to help each other, really.
Yeah, for sure, mate. And like you said, we've all got kiddie in us. I will when I leave, and you'll always be there. And I think it makes a good relationship going forward at the moment. And we've got to prove that on and off the pitch. We only play once a week. So for the 7 days that you're not playing, the 6 days you're not playing, you still breed Kidderminster, but you've got to do other things off the field, community work, kids, schools, and that's how you interact with them all. Kidderminster is known as it's quite an old generation fan base, really. So we've got to bring the next line and the next crop And how do we do that? By having good cup runs, by having successful seasons. How do we get successful seasons? By all getting together and chipping in. So it's that ripple effect, and we're not starting from scratch again, really, aren't we? So that's why it's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
for me, I wish you all the best, mate, on the journey you do. Somebody's put there. Your enthusiasm and vision for the future is amazing. The buzz you get, people are making comments about it here, mate. Love Russ's enthusiasm and vision for the future. All I can say is, as Kidderminster born and bred, mate, is all the best to you, and I hope it all turns out. And if we can turn it into some community spirit again, that's fine by me.
Thanks, Andy. Great to speak to you, lads. Scott, you too, mate.
Thanks for joining us again, Russ. And like I say, in the comments, everyone's behind you. Hopefully, we can be back cheering you on soon. Cheers, Russ. Thank you.
Good to speak to you, boys. See you later.
Cheers.
Very much.
Well, that is the end of the show, really. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And again, a big thanks to Russ. Colin says he's looking forward to next season. All the best, Russ. Keep it going. I mean, there does seem to be a great buzz around. And I don't know if you thought it, but Russ's enthusiasm there, and the way he talks, the way he sees the game, the community, the whole club, it's refreshing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm conscious that obviously that was a very football-related hour. So next week, just to say, guys and ladies, we will be back to some banter and bollocks, excuse my French, as well. But it's really interesting because obviously, it's a community. It's Kidderminster Harriers. It's back in my day was a massive part of the town. And it is nice to see that Russ has got the idea, and the club have, hopefully. Well, I'm sure they have, because they've got Russ in charge, to be able to get that community spirit back, because it's important. It's important for us all, male, female, it doesn't really matter, just to have something central to the town. And we've lost that due to many reasons. So having someone with Russ with that buzz is great to see. He's a nice guy. I've never met him before, so thank you, Scott, for arranging for him to come on. Really appreciate that. As I say, we'll be back next week with our normal waffle and rubbish. But that was a really interesting insight and casual chat with an elite football manager at the end of the day. A guy that's got pressures and squads to look after and wants the fans back as well. That's evident. They want to be playing football. So, yeah, no, it's really good, mate. Really enjoyed it.
Definitely. There's a NMS says down there, great show. I don't really do football, but interesting to listen. And sometimes it's that's what's about it. It's not just about like in football. It's hearing about like what they're doing in the community, how COVID still affected them, and like the lifestyles are still the same as any other workers. So I think even if you're not into that subject, it can still be interesting to hear the ins and outs, the stories.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And their highlights, like, Russ isn't, he's played for England. He's played at Wembley 3 times. He's won championships, won leagues, played with some amazing players as well, like Fellaini and things. So they've got stories they don't often get to tell. So that's quite nice to hear those as well.
Definitely. Well, Andy, thank you again for joining us.
No, thank you, mate.
Thank you for all the chat and all the insights you put in tonight. There's some fantastic questions from yourself.
Go full detail, I'll tell you.
But thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Don't forget, we're here every Monday from 7:30. Join us, or don't. It's up to you, but we would like it if you did. It's goodbye from me.
Yeah, and it's ta-ra from me.
0.